I spent 100 hours building hell itself in Minecraft, a demonic wasteland devoid of any pure life. Minecraft has many demons, the dragon, the wither, Herobrine, yet there is one far more powerful. Minecraft will never be the same again. But what is it to be loved by your God? As does not. What better way to hail our dark overlord than with a city built from fire and brimstone in their honour? This wasteland is simply the northern half of my fantasy RPG map, where, for lore reasons that I will not be spoiling yet, a demonic corruption has sunk down, claiming all the lands before it. In this video, I'll be building Desolacia, the fallen capital, a lava fortress, and the final palace, where the players will make their last stand for the event. So keep watching, and remember, do you fear your God? In the last video, we built Port Haven, the stronghold of the mortals on the southern coast. This time, we're moving to the opposite end of the map because I was too excited about this area not to rush into building it. I started out by connecting the wastelands to a canal that runs through the mountains. This canal will be accessed through Sereneth, the elf city, which will be shown in a later video. Then I moved on to Desolacia, the former capital of the Galdorian Empire before the demonic corruption took hold. This city was heavily inspired by Yharnam from Bloodborne, and I wanted to mimic the multi-levelled city with deep canals and confusing bridges. After I'd marked the city out with wool and designed the canals, I moved on to creating an asset pack of Victorian Gothic buildings to populate the city. This included a variety of houses and many towers to give the city a rather pointy appearance, like a forest of spires. I began pasting the buildings into the first quarter, along with some smaller areas of interest like graveyards. However, I wanted there to be some unique areas for the players to explore, so I set to work on the High Palace at the centre of the city. This palace was once the seat of the Emperor. However, his hunger for both theistic and scientific knowledge may have gone too far. I shall refrain from spoilers. However, I will say that the throne room will host one of the main boss fights of the event. I also designed a Victorian clinic in the northeast quarter. This build was an opportunity to implement some horror elements into the event, as players must fight through morgues and operating theatres to progress. Once the two main builds of the city were done, I returned to pasting in the assets from earlier. I'd marked out in wool the routes I wanted players to take, and blocked off all others. This would make the city play more like a traditional fantasy action game. However, there are multiple routes that can be taken to give players more freedom. Once the city was done, I completed the bridge out from the High Palace and began work on the lava fortress. The shape of the fortress was made to resemble a pentagram, with the centre of the star raised to form a tower. Before the corruption, this stronghold would have controlled the passage of ships in and out of Desolacia, able to destroy any that meant the city harm with its huge mortar cannon. From the tip of the pentagram, I extended out yet another bridge. However, this one is flanked by demonic gargoyles. The bridge leads to the final castle in the event, which will be the toughest location to beat. The gatehouse is flanked by two serpent-tailed beasts that vaguely resemble humans, and a large pentagram window above. Perhaps this castle was twisted beyond recognition by the corruption, or maybe it emerged in its entirety from hell itself. The visage is too demonic to know. Beyond an enclosed courtyard can be found the Hall of Fallen Saints, a cathedral dominating the player's view from the moment they enter the castle. Its walls are lined with gargoyles passing judgment on all below. I was unhappy with the uneven front of the castle, so I moved the east tower closer, then began work on the Garden of Skulls, a pit decorated with the bones of those sacrificed. I reused a statue asset that would be built in a later video to create a crumbling monument with the bones of the dead hanging from it. The next part of the castle was the main focus, a giant skull facade looming over the gateway to the throne room. The horizon above its many spires may be the last glimpse the players would ever get at the sky. Who knows if they would live to see it again. The castle itself was built around the skull centrepiece. I wanted the players to feel consumed by it, so I built a large promenade of arches out the front with statues behind to watch over their approach. Then it was time for texturing, and some smaller details to really bring the citadel to life. If you'd like to see the secrets in the throne room beyond, then join Lich's Discord to play in the event, or join my Patreon to download the map for yourself after Lich's video releases. Next it was time to add some details to the Wasteland. I started out by creating an asset pack of corrupted trees to scatter around and form mini biomes, along with adapting some of the ruins used in the south to fit the Wasteland aesthetic, along with the much needed help from my friend Toshiro to give them a corrupted feel. With the Wasteland complete, it's time to touch on the monsters that would inhabit it. This event will rely heavily on mods, so I'll briefly show off a collection of the different mods used, and also a data pack that I had to custom write because I like to torture myself for these events. For the roaming creatures of the wild, I used the Alex's Mobs mod, Pyromancer mod, and the Forestcraft mod. For tougher enemies, I included the Ice and Fire mod along with several others such as Tolkeintweaks and Undead expansion. Within the city itself, I wanted to ramp up the horror elements, so I used the Scary Mobs and Bosses mod for its creepy looking entities. A full list of mods will be included as credits for the event, and more may be added before it is finished. But now on to the coding hell that I endured to get the spawns working. The issue that I had with the vanilla mob spawners was that they would continuously spew out enemies whenever a player was near, and there was no real way to modify the radius at which this would happen. I wanted to create something more custom, like the RPG style spawns and random encounters in games like Fallout and Skyrim, where it creates the illusion that the mob has been there all along. Also, it being a 100-player event, I couldn't just have these spawners firing once, as the next group to come on through the area would find nothing to fight, and the groups would get bored very quickly if they weren't leading the charge. So to do this, I decided to use invisible armor stands, tagged with the names of the mob that they would be spawning, scattered across the world. Each armor stand has its own personal scoreboard for it to count the time since its last spawn, and whether or not it has spawned recently. Once this scoreboard, which ticks up every second, has reached a set number, so I set it to 300 for 5 minutes, but it's arbitrary, I could have set it to whatever I wanted. Once it reaches that level, it will reset, the spawn number will return to 0, and the next time someone enters the block radius, it will trigger. Only issue. To respond to the tags, I had to code a separate function for each and every mob, and in the vanilla game that's fine. You can download this pack in the vanilla version on my Planet Minecraft for free. I'm not using the vanilla version. What I had to do was code for all the possible mobs in the entire mods list. Not just the mobs I just showed you, all of the ones for the entire map. Which left to this absolute mess of function files. I don't even know where to begin with that, so I won't, because I'm traumatized and you don't care. So, with all that out of the way, what a lovely learning experience it was. Let's get on to the beauty shot. But lo, a stir is in the air. The wave, there is a movement there, as if the towers had thrust aside, in slightly sinking, the dull tide, as if their tops had feebly given a void within the filmy heaven. The waves have now a redder glow, the hours are breathing faint and low, and when, amid no earthly moans, down, down that town shall settle hence, hell, rising from 1,000 thrones, shall do it reverence. Once again, we love an unscripted rant here, and I'm going to go on another one, because the retention drop wasn't low enough for me the last time I started green screen rambling in the last video. I did not learn my lesson. Anyways, if you've watched this far, please do subscribe. This map has taken about 1,000 collective hours so far, and it's only going to take more. It's only about 75% done. And there's a whole 2 other cities that I haven't put the video together yet, so stay tuned for those. This map, as I said earlier, is being used for an event hosted by Lich, so if you're interested, come and join his Discord, link down in the description. Once everything is ready, there will be an application form put out, just fill that out, and you'll be on your way to being in the event. We're looking for players who can play a character in sort of a fantasy RPG style setting. So think of yourself less as players and more of actors in a film, if that makes sense. Also, my Patreon. At the $5 Baby Bats tier, you will get access to all my maps once they have been used in events. So currently, as of the release of this video, that is the Void Caverns map, which still an excellent map, but there's just one at the moment. As soon as Lich has done the event and the video for the Vault map, that will be up there too. And in however long it takes to host and run this event, which will probably be, I don't know, the last one took us a year. So, and this is even bigger. This is probably one of the most ambitious things that anyone's tried in Minecraft for a while, at least that I'm aware of. So yeah, after the years that it takes for Lich's video to come out on this map, that will also be there at the $5 tier for the base map. Don't know what I'm going to do about the modded version, because that will be like a standalone adventure map that I'm considering publishing to. Also, if you want to see more of my beautiful face, I'm streaming more on Twitch. So we're doing lots of horror games. At the moment we're playing through Silent Hill 3, so that will be linked down in the description as well. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to join the Discords. And if you do happen to be a builder, please help me. Please. I have there's 2 other builders that consistently do stuff on this map, and that's Toshiro and Buildbank. Please, I need all the help I can get. So if you have any experience building, please either join my server, join Lich's server, and just shoot me a message, or tag me, and just say you want to help out, because we desperately need help. But anyways, have fun building in Minecraft.